Hello and welcome to my tutorial for my shopping games that I sell in my Teachers Pay Teachers store, simply speaking SLT. As you can see, this game board here is for S Initial. However, this tutorial here applies to all of my Articulation shopping games. So the aim of this game for the players are to cross off all of the items here on their shopping list. To cross something off, you simply click on the written word, and then if you accidentally click something you didn't want to cross off, just click again, it will unclick it. Okay, so the aim for the speech therapist is that their students will be practicing their sounds. So as you can see, this is the S Initial board, and so all these pictures here are of things that start with the S sound in initial position. All games include initial position, then if you click this arrow it will move to the medial position, then final, and then the mixed position. And as you can see, I'm now back at S Initial, and I did that by hitting this home button here. So this game is a multiplayer game. You can either play one-on-one with your student or with many players who are all working on the same sounds. Gameplay begins by popping a counter on this board around the outside. To pop a counter on the board, you simply click on top of the square and the green counter will come up. So this is a cooperative game. You only move one counter around the board the entire game, and all players are working together to cross off the shopping items on their list. Okay, so the first player chooses where to start, and I have chosen to pop my counter here on top of the food spinner. Now because my counter is on top of the food spinner, I can spin this food spinner here to see what item I will get to cross off my shopping list. So I click the spin button once, and I click it again to stop it. And I got bread, so I simply click on the word bread. Okay, and now it is the next player's turn, and they can spin the spinner to see how many squares around the board they will move. And they got 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will click on sofa to put my counter here, and then I will go back and unclick over here so that we only have one counter on the board. Now, sofa is the word that we're going to practice saying. Everyone could take turns saying it, and that way, even though it's one player's turn to spin the spinners, every person playing the game can have a turn saying their speech sounds. Simply, each player could just take a turn to spin the spinner. So if player 1 got a 5, they would have to say sofa 5 times, and then the next player can have their spin, and then that person has to say it 6 times, and so on and so forth. If you were just playing with one student, then of course you would just spin it once, and the student would say their speech sound that many times in that word, and then you simply keep going. So if we spin again, I got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sad, and then take this counter away, and we would spin for how many times we say sad. And then every time the players land on one of these spinner icons here that has the food spinner on it, as you can see, one here and here, they're in many places on the board, the student can spin the food spinner and then cross the thing off their shopping list. And the game is over when you have crossed everything off your shopping list. This is a continuous board. You go around and around and around. It's cooperative, which eliminates the barrier of competitiveness, which can be an issue in some group sessions. And so this here is how it will be set up if you've bought a single phoneme game. So for example, the S Articulation shopping game. In my store, I also sell the multiple sounds version of this game. It will be in the bundle version of this product, and it has all the different speech sounds you can see here. So if we click R, you'll see the R board. And if we hit SH, you'll see the sh board. And same again, you just click through medial, final, and then mixed. Okay, and then if you hit the home button, it'll take you back there. So this means you could actually have a mixed session with students who are working on different speech sounds. For example, if you had one student working on the G sound, this can be their board, and this would be competitive then. They can work their way around their board, crossing things off their shopping list, and then if it was the next person's turn and their speech sound is S, you simply go home and hit S and then work their way around their board, and it would stay static as they leave it, as you come back to it. And as you can see, there's crossed off from earlier in this video, and so the winner would be the person who crosses off everything on their shopping list first. And so that would be a competitive version of the game. However, it would also mean that you can do mixed groups. So you could also play the competitive version if your students really do well with the competitive version of games, just by keeping track of who spins the spinner that gets them to cross something off their list. For example, if I spun and was able, because it was my turn, and on my turn I was able to cross off bananas, then the next time I crossed off yogurt and canned tomatoes, but the next player at the end of the game had only actually been able to cross off 2, then I would win. To do this, you would have to keep tally on a different piece of paper of the scores of who crossed off what. So that's how we play this game. I hope you enjoy it. I also have some other themes of this shopping game in my store, for example synonyms and some other ones there, so go check those out as well. I also sell just the individual spinners with articulation sounds on the spinner. So for example, these images here would be these pictures, they wouldn't be food, and you spin the spinner and it can be a quick fun drill activity for students. So check that out in my store as well, Simply Speaking SLT. Enjoy the rest of your day and have fun in speech. Be in touch if you have any questions.